Look at this chart right here. Airbnb stock is continuing to drop, but the reason why is more than just bad for the Airbnb stock. It's terrible for Airbnb hosts. And I was wrong yesterday. I have to clarify some things that I was wrong about because yesterday I thought it was one reason, and I can encapsulate that in this comment right here. I thought, just like this gentleman believes, that Joe Gebbia joining Elon Musk's DOGE is the reason why people would be protesting and the reason why people think the stock would be crashing. But there's so much more to the story today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. There are three things that are causing Airbnb some headwinds. Of course, their fight against hotels and competitors. Now, their issue with leadership internally. And to top it all off, the trade war and immigration policy is starting to affect summer travel. All three. We're going to get into them all. First, I'm going to catch you up what's going on with Elon Musk's DOGE because it is a factor and it's going to play a factor for a little while. And then we're getting into the rest of the story. My name's Sean Rakicic. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming to a live stream, my friends. These are really fun. I'm going to try to pay attention in the chat with you too. But I've got comments for you. Yesterday's video where I was wrong, I'm going to tell you what's going on by showing you comments from people in the front lines. Are you ready? We're going to share some comments right now. So please like the video before you forget to like. Comment number one. This person first is maybe one of my more favorite comments because we're all Airbnb hosts here, right? And everything that happens in our industry is something that we need to be ready for. We need to adapt to. It's called market forces. Some people will quit or go out of business. And this person is saying that, everybody is thinking that it's, going to be negativity because of boycotts, etc., whatever. But this gentleman claims that he's doing just fine because he's competitive and he's ready to go to war to keep himself in business. And I like this angle because no matter what happens with us, whether there's boycotts, whether something's up, whether the recession hits, we will have to find ways to stay in business. And some other Airbnb hosts will go out of business. And this channel is always about educating you. So I wanted to lead with that one. But let's continue. So this person is validating the tariff trade war theory here. This person had 2 summer reservations and they've canceled, citing, of course, that they're finding it uninviting. So it's not just that people are anti-DOGE and that people could be vandalizing Airbnb properties. That's what I thought yesterday, right? It could be that summer travel looks to be scary and people don't know if they want to be here because of potential visa issues and immigration problems. So, oh yeah, I was supposed to catch you guys up on what's going on with DOGE. So Joe Gebbia is the founder. Let me ADHD take it back a little bit. Joe Gebbia is one of the 3 founders of Airbnb. You probably knew that. You guys are smart. And he started working for Tesla in 2022. He was working very actively with Airbnb until then. Now he's still a board member, still owns 7% of Airbnb, and naturally, he's an Airbnb billionaire. Good for him, right? Now, he says that he's good friends with Elon Musk. They're real chummy. And so he started working with DOGE, and he was rather vocal about it online. So this is the relationship, right? The investors over the last few months who've been trading the markets, Tesla included, has seen how Tesla's pulled back, and they've probably assigned some of that decrease of valuation to these Tesla protests and the Tesla vandalism. And this is not meant to get political. I don't care what side of this you're on, but we can agree that Teslas have been damaged, okay? And this has been on social media. It's everywhere. And because investors see this, that could make investors nervous that the stock will go down, maybe stay down, because investors, they like to know the future. They like to know that the future will be a certain amount good or a certain amount bad. They want to measure it. And when they cannot measure how bad something's going to be, they'll get out. And that's why Tesla might have dropped. Might have. I'm not a trader. I've lost a lot of money trading, so don't take my stock advice. But because of this same behavior, knowing that Elon Musk has a relationship to both Tesla and DOGE, and people have been anti-DOGE, again, not meant to get political, there are people out there who are anti-DOGE. Okay, we've seen that on the news too. Because Joe Gebbia now is associated with DOGE, let's follow the logic, okay? There are people who've been anti-Tesla, anti-Musk, anti-DOGE. Now they'll be anti-Joe Gebbia, anti-Airbnb. This is the logic. So investors who are once bitten at Tesla could be twice shy with the Airbnb stock, and it could be pulling down based on those fears. That's initially what I thought, that investors don't want to take a trade that they don't understand, and they don't want to have an investment become a coin flip because they don't know how bad it's going to be. People don't know what lengths someone might go through to harm Airbnb property. per se. But again, it's more than just that. What we're seeing now with the 25% tariffs and passport immigration restrictions is that there are people who, like even people who've had green cards, have been getting like problems even with domestic flights. And I was going to go to Mexico for my birthday, and now I have to have some extra document to go to Mexico because Mexico's not happy with the USA to some degree. And everybody's starting to enforce stuff where people were more friendly, right? And because everybody's starting to tighten up and enforce stuff, people naturally don't know if it's going to get worse and affect their summer travel. Because if things are getting, XYZ amount of unfriendly now or strict now, imagine in 2 months or 3 months what it could be like. So these people with these big houses, like our gentleman that we just shared initially here, his issue could be that his international travelers think that it could get worse by the time summer comes and they need to cancel now just in case. But there's a benefit to this in a way, or there's a silver lining that I learned during COVID. During COVID, when everyone was scared of traveling, people didn't book in advance. They absolutely did not, sure, but people still needed or wanted to travel, so what they did is they waited till last minute. They didn't have confidence to see super far into the future, but they did know that within a week or two, they'd make their final decision. And we had a lot of last minute occupancy that made up for the lack of far future bookings. Okay, so this gentleman might still end up getting his calendar full. We're mirrored. This gentleman might still get his calendar full, hopefully. But let's move on. So this woman had cancellations, but her guest actually did say it was because of the whole DOGE thing. So this is proof that both are impacting hosts, right? I'm not getting political. These are hosts' experiences, okay? So this is proof that it happened. This person is the one that had an emotional reaction to the concept of people boycotting Airbnb. Now, the very first thing I showed you was somebody who's mad that one of the founders could do something that could harm his business. This is a host that is mad that people would be upset that the founder went and did something that he believes to be positive. So we have hosts on both sides of the fence. We've got hosts who are like, don't mess with my money. And we've got hosts that are like, don't be mad at people doing what they have to do. So I think even hosts are split, right? There's gonna be some people that are pro Joe Gebbia going to DOGE and there's some people that are not, right? So his comment kind of gives you that. So this person internationally in the spring break market started to see a downtrend himself. His calendars are normally booked. Now, there is more to this right here. I was reading Airbnb's newsroom today, and I don't have the article handy, but Airbnb had an increase of solo travelers more than ever, and then solo travelers with pets more than ever, but then also families have changed the way that they're booking for spring break. The way that Airbnb wrote the article was meant to be positive, being on top of their trends, but it did ring to me like people just have less money. That's what it rang to me like. So I think this gentleman's spring break issue, I don't think it is so much to do with a decline of international travel, but I do think that people are fearful right now, and people do have less free cash. That's what I think is going on. But that is an economics thing, and I'm sure there's a few of you smarty pantses in the comment section. You are so welcome to speak up on this if you think that economic factors are affecting spring break markets more than the Joe Gebbia thing or more than this international travel visa thing. I could digress and say I do know that in Miami, in spring break, there are people from around the world that come to Miami for spring break because it's notoriously known to be a party. But you guys have probably seen in the news that Miami tried to kill that, right? Miami decided to say parking is $100 and all this extra stuff, right? So that could be affecting our spring break reputation in the United States. And if we're losing some street cred and everybody's just going to like Ibiza or Tulum now, that could be part of it, right? Could be. Next one up. This person has a very good level-headed thought, and we do have to kind of respect this angle, which is that it's possible that the markets are just having a pullback, right? Now, to one degree, that affects the stock, yes. We're still seeing hosts saying that people are literally canceling their reservations. But if we go look at Airbnb's stock, if I can go pull this back up, okay? We go and take a look at this. It shows, if you zoom in, it shows their high and their low for the last 52 weeks. Their 52-week high of $166 was so very recently. Like it was this year. It was like January or something. So they had a boom. the stock market all probably had this sympathetic boom, and now they're collapsing. They're within 10% of their 1-year low, by the way, right now. So the Airbnb really is tanking. They're within 10% of their 52-week low, but very recently they were at the 52-week high. So the whole market has pulled back, and sometimes people using the word crash might be a bit of a misnomer if it's just corrected back to normal, but I think we are below the normal range. So this person says that they're seeing stuff for boycotts for Airbnb. This would be, like, I guess, generic. Could be Joe Gebbia, could be immigration policy, could be whatever, but she's saying that she's starting to feel it as well. And then this person said the same thing. They're seeing comments from travelers, probably on Reddit and other threads, saying that they're not going to use Airbnb for the same reason. So now, what I did find when I started to dig into this is many articles about the tariffs affecting travel. I decided to search not just Airbnb stuff, but I wanted to search just travel in general. And so outside of this concept of Joe, like everything's polluted with Joe Gebbia right now, right? It's like everything that they're talking about is like Joe Gebbia this, DOGE that. So in order to get this right, I had to stop searching Airbnb and start looking just at the travel industry. And we're seeing a ton of articles talking about how tariffs and how our immigration policy reform and tightening up is actually affecting the projected like travel economy, okay? And here's a more specific article from CBS. Again, it's CBS, but it's saying that, you know, domestic travel will be negative because people don't have a lot of money right now, but international travel coming in will be negative because of policies. And so when you combine this all with everything else, right? Airbnb's already had headwinds because of like Hilton having these anti-Airbnb campaigns about their cleaning fees. And then Marriott is pushing into the short-term rental space by making their own platform and buying postcard cabins and stuff. Airbnb's already had that fight, right? We've talked about that a lot. And hosts, we have to recognize that we need to have a product that people like that's ours, because all of this is like very Airbnb negative, but Airbnb is not the only dog in the yard, right? It's not the only channel for us to list upon. We can be on VRBO. We can be on Marriott Homes and Villas. We can have our own direct booking website. And so over time, we need to start collecting our own consumer information, right? If an Airbnb guest stays with you, you need to find a way to build a relationship with them and hold on to that information for dear life. Like 10 years ago, in the boom of tech, even before that, like longer, people would tell you that data is the new oil or data is the new gold, and it's true. Your customer data, people that have booked with you, that left you a 5-star review, that's highly likely that they could stay with you again if circumstances allow them to, if they're back in your neighborhood ever again. Or they might even give a referral for you. Like, for example, growing your social media. We're about to crack 300,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, right? That has value. And if you have 3,000 happy guests from a portfolio of a dozen mountain properties over the course of 5 years or something, that has value. You can have an email list and you can blast off and get your own bookings. And if Joe Gebbia, like no matter what you guys think politically, right? If Joe Gebbia pisses some people off on that customer list, they'll still book with you because they're not booking on Airbnb. You can bypass the politics. So I want you guys to consider that. With that said, I think that kind of sums up everything I wanted to show you today. But I would like to know what you guys think. I would love for you to keep communicating with me what you think is going on, because these lives depend on you hosts. As much as you guys maybe enjoy talking to me, I need you guys out there in the trenches. Send me DMs, send me comments. Let me know what you think is going on. And with that said, friends, thank you so much for watching a live stream, and I will see you on the other side.